must be a sustained effort to listen to each other, to learn from each other, to respect one another, and to seek common ground.
This is not utopia. It is a pragmatic vision.
I think we need to focus more on similarities.
It's we, Indonesian people, trying to say this is Indonesia.
A center for culture, this people-to-people engagement. There's so much to foster understanding.
The entrance to the facility is going to be right here. It's going to be a portal. I'll show you what it is. So if you walk with me. This area back here is going to be a large screen. The bleachers, in fact.
What we have is a facility that's maybe about 600 square meters, but it's anything but square. There's one portion of it that's rectangular, another portion of it that's kind of like a baseball diamond.
Our challenge was to take that space and turn it into something that would not only appeal to young Indonesians, but would also appeal to people who are quite savvy when it comes to malls and shops and things like that. We're competing with some of the best known brands in the world.
The way we'd run it, there'd be one major screen, which would be the feed that links to the audio on this.
As you come out the door, boom, that's what you're going to see.
We have a couple of design mandates. The first one is that we have an exhibition space. The second one is that we have a performance space. And I guess, if you will, the third one is that both of those spaces can be used at the same time. But we knew whatever we did, we would still end up with 600 square meters in a mall.
While the center was being constructed, we decided that we want to create awareness among some people in Jakarta. So we invited them and they come take a look at the place.
I'm here to witness the new diplomacy of the US.
I think you should bring like documentary filmmakers from the United States and then just have a talk here.
People are interested in having a dialogue, so let's do it.
Something where they can interact with technology, with science, with film, with literature, with the things that really make Indonesians love America.
Akan lebih banyak mengeksplor mengenai negara Amerika bagaimana, terus kita juga sebagai Indonesia yang sangat fantastic.
We saw how people were so excited and they had a lot of expectations from the place. It also convinced us that we are on the right track.
The team of Americans with long Indonesian experience, Indonesians with American experience, coming together like this to come up with a world-class facility.
We are in Pacific Place Mall in Jakarta, and we are right in the middle of Central Business District of Jakarta. We've been working for 3 weeks, and it's only been 30%, and that's going to be the biggest challenge of all. Because it's in a mall, we cannot do much during mall hours because the mall doesn't allow us to disturb the other tenants or the visitors. So what we can do is only from 10 o'clock at night until 8 o'clock in the morning.
We wanted to come up with a hip, edgy 21st century facility. The value of this was to do it in a mall, to take it outside the embassy and do it in a different way that had never been done before.
The concept behind Ad America was to have a dialogue between young Indonesians and the people of America about things that are important to young Indonesians. When President Yudhoyono and President Obama talk about the relationship that they want to have between our two countries, they talk about a partnership, a comprehensive partnership. So what we get is a richer dialogue with this very, very important country, and we learn what it's like to be partners.
Why Indonesia? Why us is the first country to open the Outreach Public Diplomacy Center? I know our relationship hasn't been that smooth.
Why Indonesia? Well, for one, Indonesia is the third largest democracy. It's the largest Muslim majority nation. Now it's the country where young people in particular are looking to interact with the rest of the world. Indonesia has just passed England and become #2 user of Facebook. This is not an accident. So, in a way, if we succeed, we change things all over the world. I think it's worth taking certain risks. I think that we really have a chance to change a piece of the world.
I just noticed all of the tracking or the rails for what will be lighting and the various posts that are being put in place up in the ceiling racks. The best part about it was that yesterday I was at our warehouse and equipment was coming in. We're really excited about the bleachers just because they're really starting to take shape. Really to be able to work with a great team, have some vision, get that vision turned into paper and then have that turned into reality is just great.
Worries. I have no worries anymore. I'm frightened. The FE doors, they're late. These are actually the cellulose that came out from the ceiling. Here, on this, if you come over here, I would say that this point is going to be the best in the house. That's the stage, and this is going to be a big screen. I'm worried if things are not the way it's going to be, but I'm sure it will. I'm just worried too much.
Good morning, everybody. There you go. Selamat pagi semuanya.
We train our employees to strictly observe and respect personal data. We are not supposed to elicit, request, or keep any personal data from our visitors unless they willingly give us the release to do that.
3E. What are the 3 E's?
Explore, experience. We had to bring 56 candidates to hit the ground running up to protocol.
Indonesians and Americans already have a long history of collaborations on so many important projects in so many different areas.
Krista and me, as a payload specialist, we work in Johnson Space Center. Krista's outfit is exactly the same size as me. It means that anytime we can grab the same suits, actually. It's a very sad story, actually, because she flew with the Challenger and then it was Challenger disaster. Yeah, I think this kind of facility is very, very important. You know, the exchange of ideas, exchange of the cultural interest between the youth especially will be very, very important.
We've had a unique history and not an easy history of relations between Indonesia and US. It's both. There's an element of cooperation, but we also had elements of disputes. Now the momentum is going upward, especially since the election of President Barack Obama.
For the first time, United States has a president who not only knows Indonesia, but grew up here before. And I think the president's mother activity during her stay here was for Indonesia, microfinancing and really giving to Indonesia, not the elite part, but the public at large. So I'm very grateful that I lived to see this reality.
I knew Ann Dunham, Barack Obama's mother, and she would have said about this At America project what I would say, high time. At America can play a positive role. It is to dispel the stereotypes. And I think what's really, really important is to get youth involved, because young people don't have such rigid stereotypes.
We hear, politicians talk about this, talk about that, and I'm thinking to myself, hey, it's enough for politicians to talk. It's us, the youngster, an artist, a filmmaker to talk. We are a country of learning, and I want the people in America and all around the world to see that Indonesia is actually a nation of learning.
Many young students they are coming from the Islamic family, when I offer them scholarship, whether you prefer to study in Middle East countries, or you are going to study here, or are you going to study to America, almost, it based on my experience, they prefer study abroad than to America. And I ask, why? Yeah, because I have to know the other words.
When I went to the United States to go to college, that's where I first saw the world cinema. We can have a sustainable programming in showcasing those diversity of Indonesia at America. I think it can be interesting, even not only for the expats and for the Americans who live here, but also for the Indonesian itself, ourselves, because sometimes we took things for granted.
Gue nganggap bahwa orang Amerika itu agak arogan dan nggak terbuka gitu ya. Ternyata di sana ketemu siapa aja, how's it going man? Itu yang salah satu yang merubah persepsi gue.
Hey, Mr. President, would you please sign this picture for us, for Slank? This is you. We hope that you'll be the Slankers too.
Pretty good. I mean, once you draw it.
A lot. 8 more days to go. We need to install the carpet here. You see that guy? The projection wall is not smooth enough and it's not even enough. Tonight has to be done so that tomorrow we can have all the equipment in and people working in that server room. This guy is repairing the lights, so we're going to pull the lights as high as possible. So we also need to install the carpet on the bleacher. I don't know. I'm sure I'm going to get a sore throat.
So Lisa, can you please make sure that the speakers that we already locked in are going to preparing their materials?
About the opening ribbon cutting day,
Yes,
right? Using a
yeah.
marching band for that. I don't think that's really maybe a good idea because of the limited space in the mall. How are we supposed to get a marching band around the mall and up the escalators?
The marching band is such a good idea. I mean, we don't have to have a big group of, 60 or whatever, but we can have a mini marching band, and I don't think it's a problem.
When they have to go single file on the escalator, marching up.
I think it will be very good, especially because it will go from one floor to another floor.
So you agree, right?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Everybody agree. Bruce, everybody agree.
I guess so. It just sounds awfully complicated, like a lot of planning.
We were all tense and anxious about the deadline, and we were thinking about, hey, it's finally going to happen. And we're building something that will be there for 7 days a week and 11 hours a day.
It's kind of another challenge for me, how to make all these things working together. So when people come in to the facility, they can see like another dimension.
This one is the processor image. We're still doing installation. So total will be 2 meters by 6, 12 meters.
When young Indonesians walk into America, I want them to say, wow. I want them to enjoy the facility. There's a lot of hands-on equipment, there's iPads, there's touch screens, a lot of other cool stuff. Nothing else like it. Imagine even where I'm sitting is a theater.
Matt, anything else?
No, we're good for the handover.
We'd like to formally hear your recommendation that we give the recommendation to the embassy to sign off. Are you ready to do that?
Yes, I hereby recommend.
We'll then make a recommendation to the embassy that can hand over the facility.
Yeah, it looks awesome. It looks awesome. We did it.
I want to cry. Well done.
This project went from being an empty shell, from being some concrete walls, to being what is definitely the coolest space I've ever walked in. I feel absolutely overwhelmed with joy and pride. When I walked in a few minutes ago and I looked at that, I said, oh, I love that shot, it looks so great. There's been a huge movement in Washington to get the embassy out from behind the embassy walls. And this project is really our first attempt to do so in 30 or 40 years.
As of about 2 minutes ago, this is now a U.S. Embassy facility. The handover has been done. We're no longer in construction mode, and we are officially operational. So, woo!